What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Stand Your Ground. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Stand Your Ground. I'm your host, as always, Alex Benison. You may see someone missing that's normally here, which is D-Bake. He's having a few technical issues at the moment, but he should be here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But we are joined by both members of the Mighty Whites podcast, Jack and Casey.
I was going to say, in my experience, the person that is missing is never here anyway. So,
yeah. And a special day for today. Not only was it Leeds United versus Man United for the first time in the Premier League for quite a while, it's also Jack's birthday.
Yay.
I reiterate.
So, happy birthday, Jack.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry.
I know this is just a personal discussion between people now, but you did also leave your present at my house earlier.
Oh, great. Yeah, I did do that, didn't I?
Yeah.
You mixing households?
I did nip up to drop off a present and to pick up a present, and then forgot said present.
But you did get ham, and that's the most important thing.
I also was given a ham sandwich for my trouble.
Lovely. Waka waka. Anyway, yeah, Stand Your Ground, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at manscaped.com. If you go over there and use promo code SYG2020, you get 20% off and free delivery. Unlike our end of year awards for Armchair Wrestling that was live yesterday, there actually is a promo video lined up ready. So we can run that and we'll talk about the products that you can pick up after. So check this out. Yeah, so as we said before, make sure you head over to manscaped.com, use code SYG2020 for 20% off and free delivery. We all want to spend and indulge at this time of year, but you also want to save a little bit of money as well. So you might as well go over there and use the code at checkout.
And if you went to a barber's and said, I want a trim, and then started taking your pants down, you would get in trouble. So don't go to the barber's. Order the Lawnmower 3.0. So you won't get arrested for public indecency.
We might as well start off before we get into the main topic of this, because we are doing a Team of the Year special. But I was on the Mighty Whites podcast on Thursday to do a preview for this Leeds United versus Man United match. So we might as well do some post-game talk. Coming from two Leeds fans, what did you feel about the performance?
I don't know how to process it, mate.
The funny thing I found throughout it was, and I suppose it's because we've been good for the last couple of years, that we've not really been battered like that for a while. So at half time, even though we were 4-1 down, there was a little bit of me just like, I think we could still get back into this. Whereas previously I felt like this is the end. And that optimism was greatly misplaced. But at the same time, being, going that far behind that quickly it does pretty much ease the burden on you for the majority of the game.
No, I do know what you mean with that. Like I say, I was quite pretty much racked with nerves before that game. Big game, really wanting to get involved. And after 3 minutes, I felt no nerves whatsoever. Scott McTominay, or Prime Zidane as he's known, or at least that's what Matthias Klick managed to make him look like. Those 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. I honestly think that we are good enough to give Man United a decent game. I would always expect Man United to win, just player for player, they are a better side. But I really did think we can give them a game here. The one thing that we needed to not do was make it easy for them, and we could not have made it any easier. Give the ball away, lose it in transition. We play man-for-man marking all over the pitch. So maybe if both the centre mids decide to not mark Fred and McTominay for 45 minutes, that might help. But either one of them could just bomb straight through the middle because they just weren't chasing back with him. I don't know what got into them, to be honest. That bit was really poor. But the weird thing is that I genuinely think Leeds could have had 5. It's just that Man United could have had 12.
Yeah, to be fair, you kind of got to tip your hat. Even though he conceded 6, I still think Meslier had a great game in goal.
I gave him man at match from a Leeds perspective. On Through It All Together, where I write, it's at THRU, it's all LUFC on Twitter.
And to be fair, even as a Man United fan, when Cooper scored a header, I was a bit like, fuck.
All I was thinking was, where's that been defensively for the last few weeks?
Yeah. And obviously we did manage to concede from a corner as well, so we kept up a streak.
Yeah, true.
Calvin Phillips, who was in a different postcode to Victor Lindelof.
But moving on from that, because I'm sure that you two are going to have a long discussion on the Mighty Whites podcast about the Leeds and Man United game.
Knowing us, probably not. We'll probably talk about it for 5 minutes and then just go off on some tangent about something else to make ourselves feel better.
Start talking about new floodlights.
Yeah, floodlights, or just start making Simpsons references. Like, stop, he's already dead.
To be honest, there was a little bit, I think it was like in the last minute of the game when De Gea collected the ball, rushed to the edge of the area and played that outside of the foot goal drop kick to get it wide quickly. And I was just there going, you're 6-2 up. Stop trying to counter us with 30 seconds left. There's no need for this.
You know what? And the one person on the Man United side that I think I said
Bielsa would have been so mad.
The one person that I think for Man United was Martial that just wasn't finishing. There was plenty of clear-cut chances where he should have finished it.
Yeah. To be honest, the times when you were about 25 yards out, you had a decent chance of scoring, to be honest. And I think the biggest thing that summed up the difference in quality of at least performances anyway was in the second half. There was a ball into Dan James, and he just dropped his shoulders to the left, moved it to his right, and within about half a second of that happening, Luke Ayling, who was marking him, seemed to be about 10 yards away from him. Like I don't know how Dan James got so far away from him so quickly.
No, Ayling got properly sent to the shops on that one. Like, just one touch, and it's almost impressive if you get sent one step the wrong way, fair enough, but to get sent 4 steps is quite something.
Legend has it Luke Ayling is still trying to find him now.
You could almost say that it felt like he was marking nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Not again. Yeah, but moving on to the actual main topic of what this podcast is about. This will probably be the last Stand Your Ground for this year. We'll take a break next week due to it being the holidays, and then we'll be back on the 3rd of January, which will be the first show into 2021.
Remember the day.
Yeah. So you might as well remember this year and who's been the best player. Team of the year. FIFA do it every year, so why can't we?
FIFA do it every week.
We've got a comment, actually. Joe, what's up, guys? Our truth's back.
I'll do my best, Del Ali. Just
yeah. So go on. What formation are you playing for this team of the year?
I'm going with the classic 2-3-5. Oh no, sorry, I've inverted the pyramid. My bad. I'm going 4-2-3-1.
I am honestly not 100% sure because
I've not finished his team.
Well, the truth is that I obviously missed this message. I do have like 9 definites, and then I'm picking between like 3 people, and that might change my formation.
Well, we all have the same starting position to pick. Goalkeeper.
Oh, no, I'm not playing one. I am really.
Phil Jagielka.
Jagielka, yeah.
The FIFA Team of the Year, this really confused me. FIFA did their awards. They picked Manuel Neuer as goalkeeper of the year, but didn't put him in the team. They picked Alisson for the team. How can your keeper of the year not make the team?
He's too good. He's too good for the team.
We go on, Casey. Start off. Who's the keeper that you've picked?
I'm going to back FIFA's bizarre decision. I've got Alisson in my team as well.
Same.
It's to be honest, it's between. I really feel it's between him, Neuer, and Ederson. And I think those 3 are just on a different plane to any other goalkeeper.
Well, I've picked. I've picked none of those 3.
Oh Christ!
Dean Henderson.
Nah, I've picked Lucas Fabianski. No, I'm joking. I've picked Jan Oblak.
Fair.
I know that Atletico didn't do a lot last year, but I think he is the best goalkeeper in the world.
He's definitely up there. I think part of the bias might be that I don't watch as much Spanish football as I used to. But he is a very, very good goalkeeper.
But yeah, to be fair, there was part of me that was thinking, can I pick Oblak for the fact that he's not really won anything? Like Neuer won Champions League and Bundesliga. Alisson won the Premier League for the first time for Liverpool for the first time in 30 years. But I just think Oblak is pound for pound the best shot stopper. So we also have someone interfering here.
Oh, it's a run-in.
D-Bake. He's not dead after all.
Oh my God. We have a run-in.
We've already
the Burberry curtains.
We've already started. We've only just started as well, so you're lucky you've jumped in at the right time. We've picked goalkeepers. I've picked Oblak. Both Jack and Casey have picked Alisson. Dan, who have you got in goal?
I actually have Alisson myself.
No, right. Well, fuck you. So he makes the team.
Makes it easier.
He makes the team. Right back. Who wants Jack? Start with the right back.
Probably a Premier League bias, but Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yep.
I also went with Trent
as a defender. Yeah, I just think he's as much. you need to be basically as good going forward, probably better going forward than you are defensively to be a top modern fullback. And his crossing is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
His passing in from the side into forward players is very good. Everything about him is perfect for modern game.
Yeah, I can't. To be honest, I can't agree more. I think he defines really what fullbacks have become in the modern way that people play football, and he makes that Liverpool team tick just that little bit extra. Dan, did you pick Trent?
Yeah, I picked Trent. Just without Liverpool's playing, they have all these guys missing, and then they really haven't skipped a beat. And he's part of the reason on the back end with his play.
So we'll move into the centre backs. I will pick my first centre back, and I'm not going to go with the obvious one because I think everybody will have him in their team. The centre back that I've gone that I think's gone under the radar a bit, Thiago Silva. I've picked as one of my centre backs of the year because I think at his age to be playing. Oh, there we go. Is he still there?
Yeah, he's there.
Just keep going.
Yeah. At his age to be playing at the same level that he still is, getting to PSG to their first Champions League final, and then coming to Chelsea and basically reassuring their back four. I think Thiago Silva's kind of flown under the radar this year and probably should get a bit more praise than what he has.
As you probably guessed, I missed nearly all of that because something went very weird at my end.
I picked Ben White.
Cool. Literally, I heard the last sentence about Thiago Silva, and that's it.
That's all you needed to hear.
Well, fair enough.
Dan, you're for centre back.
I got Sergio Ramos of Real Madrid. I feel like he's awoken. Like he had like a bad spell, I felt like 2 years ago, whatever it was, and all of a sudden he must have changed something because he turned back to what he used to be, and now he's been a great defender on that team. And then it's like they don't need Ronaldo ever since he left because they're still playing top ball there in Spain.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Ramos is one of my two as well. As much as I don't like the guy Sergio Ramos, he's a fantastic footballer.
Well, seeing as Dan's picked one of your centre backs, we'll go to KC so he can pick his first one.
I've kind of strayed away a little bit from some of the bigger clubs, but Red Bull Leipzig had a fantastic season last year, and when you've got someone like Dio Upamecano in defence playing as well as he did, I fitted him in there. Again, absolutely solid, good on the ball, absolutely very confident with it. And to be honest, you look at how they were in the latter stages of the Champions League, and I never thought he looked out of place.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all four of us will have the same final centre back. We
know Jack's the other one.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that we will all have a certain injured guy.
Yeah, I have Virgil van Dijk.
As do I.
Yeah.
I don't have him just because he plays more of the left side, so I wanted to get more of a right side back.
If you pick up Para now.
No, my other guy I picked was Ramos' teammate, Rafael Varane.
He's got Rafa Varane.
Yeah, Varane. Yeah, I feel like I've watched him and I did a little bit of research, and then he's almost played as better as Ramos has on that team.
Yeah. The reason that Varane had dropped out for me is he's made like 4 out of maybe 8 Real Madrid games I've watched in the Champions League. He's dropped a bollock that's cost him a goal in 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, like, overall, he's a world-class centre-back, but I don't think he's been quite as good this year.
If we would have went just whatever with the center backs, I would have picked, of course, Van Dijk there. I just didn't because him and Ramos play the same spot in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair enough, but I still think Van Dijk, even playing on the opposite side, still gets in to this side.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's injured at the minute, but I think he's the best. I do think he's the best centre back in the world.
Yeah. Left back then. Probably an underrated, same as the right back, but I think left back was an underrated position this year that FIFA picked. And I think there's quite a few players that play on the left hand side of the defence that have had incredible seasons. Dan, we'll start with you. Who's your left back?
Mine might be a dark horse, but I went Rafael Guerrero from Borussia Dortmund. I feel like with all the guys on that team, they've had him, and he's been a steady player for them.
Yeah,
he's one of those players I have a soft spot for because of a good Football Manager save I had a couple of years back where he was in my team for about 9 years.
Casey, who's your left back?
I've gone with Alphonso Davies. I think he's...
We're very similar people, mate.
Again, we talk about kind of what the modern day fullback is, and is essentially a winger with the legs to get back as well. And he's literally someone who has transitioned from being a left winger to being a left back. And not only that, he's done it in the best team in Europe this year in Bayern Munich.
There probably are better defensive. There's probably lots of better left backs defensively than Davies, but I think he's the only left back in world football that I'm excited to watch play. Which isn't a prerequisite for a defender, obviously, but I just think he scares the living daylights out of me when I watch him. I just think if I was in any way a defender, I don't know what I'd do against him other than be burned into the dust. But I just think he's amazing to watch, and his end product is really good. So I think he's the best we've got at the minute, and I think it will be for 10 years. What
a waste being Canadian.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's nice that he's Canadian. And
I love it. I'll give you this idea now, Jack, Alex, as an idea for a future podcast of an 11 from unfashionable footballing countries, but it's like Aubameyang. You're just there going, God, if you were from like a good country. So what a waste internationally.
That would depend. Would you want ever or now? Because I think
ever that's a very good one.
I think Joe Player for Liberia is.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Davies as well. I just think I've never. You watch a few players and you go, man, they're quick. But I watch Davies and I don't think I've ever seen anyone as fast as him.
I don't know. I thought that about Dan James a couple of times today. But I don't know if that's because of who he was running at.
I thought that about Scott McTominay a few times
today. Seeing as we've done the defence, we will have a quick social media ad telling you where to go and find all the latest news from the Buzz. Make sure that you go like, subscribe, and check out all the social media accounts for the Buzz.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now.
Yeah, What the Buzz, we're a fantastic network that's got a range of topics and live shows, articles, everything that you want to sink your teeth into. Make sure that you go to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You like, you subscribe, you follow, do everything that you can do and help us raise this platform a bit further. But we might as well continue with the team of the year and go straight into the
We've got
midfield.
nothing better to do. We might as well.
Yeah, it's not like this is why we're here. So into the midfield, I'm assuming that everyone is playing a 3-man midfield.
No.
I have now made my mind up. Basically, because I'm playing it on Football Manager right now, I have picked 4-2-4.
That's fair.
Fuck's sake. Right, okay. Me and Dan have got a 3-man. Casey, what formation are you?
I'm 4-2-3-1, so I'll just include my attacking mid, my number 10, as a centre mid as well.
Right, okay.
And Jack can include his deep lying forward.
I'm going to kick you off then with Joshua Kimmich.
Same.
No.
I think I could have picked him for right back or CDM. I think he's that good. If I could have had 2 Kimmichs, I would have had him play right back and CDM for me.
Yeah, he was my second choice behind Trent at right back, and he's my first choice at centre mid.
You know when everyone went, oh, Philip Laham's retiring. What are Bayern Munich going to do? And then Joshua Kimmich comes out of nowhere and he's like, oh, they've got a young Philip Lahm.
Yeah, it's not just that. I mean, he can also play centre back and he can play out wide in midfield. He can play on the left side as well. He is a proper can play anywhere type him. He's absolutely brilliant. He's like Stuart Dallas.
I fucking knew this would come in.
Just give him that he's slightly better than him.
Dan, your first midfielder.
This is the one that's gonna, that I told you before, that's gonna cause riots. But for my left half, I got Brandon Aronson from the Union and over here in MLS. The reason I did that was because he's only 18. He's actually just getting ready to turn 19, and in the 6 months that he's played here, he made such a huge difference on the team, to where they went from not being a playoff team to the Supporter Shield winners, and then right away, RB Salzburg paid a whopping, for over here, $15 million for his rights, and now he's going to play over for Salzburg.
So he's then going to go to Leipzig in 18 months then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's always awkward when you pick someone from a, like KC said, not a fashionable country. And people don't see the MLS as a fashionable league over in Europe, but yeah, MLS still has some good players.
But to me,
I completely believe you that he's been that good, but I can't pretend to have seen him.
It's not that he has goal scoring or whatnot. It's his ball handling that I think is going to translate well to overseas.
KC, your first midfielder?
Going back to the Premier League now, and there is a man who I have derided for a number of years, but this last probably 18 months, I've really seen what he brings to the team and how he makes everyone in that team look better. And it's Jordan Henderson as captain of that team. I think it's because of how good he is that players like Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold can look as good as they do. Because when they bomb forward, he's dropping in and filling those gaps. He's a fantastic leader. I think his range of passing is very good. So yeah, I'm going Jordan Henderson.
To be fair, I mean, it's bad he didn't cross my mind when I was picking my midfield, but at the same time, I think he's probably England's best midfielder.
Calvin
Phillips.
Yeah. All right.
Not biased on this podcast whatsoever. Don't let today's performance fool you.
Jack.
Yeah, where he got hooked at half-time and was awful.
We both had Kimmich. So, Jack, your second midfielder.
My second midfielder is, for me, the second best footballer on the planet, Kevin De Bruyne.
It's a good shout.
I just think he is the best creative midfielder in the world. And there's several really world-class ones, and I think he's a step ahead of all of them. I just think he's absolutely brilliant. He's might be my favourite player in the world to watch. I can't say he's even better than you'd think defensively as well. Like, he's just, everything about him is fantastic.
Yeah, so he's playing CDM for you.
No, two central mids.
I have him as my.
Kimmich deep lying, De Bruyne pushing on.
I've got De Bruyne as my number 10 in that team. His creativity and vision at times is just magical to watch. The way he brings players into the game, he can bend a shot at goal from pretty much anywhere within about 30 odd yards. His movement is fantastic. Just, I cannot speak highly enough of Kevin De Bruyne.
I got him as well. I feel like he did. When I watch him play, I feel like he doesn't even try. It doesn't even look like he puts effort into it, and then he just plays so well.
Oh, you can tell when he tries because he goes bright red.
He's very much of a Brock Lesnar of football.
I haven't picked Kevin De Bruyne.
Because you're a Man United fan.
Yeah, and everyone knows who I've picked in my number 10 role.
Have you, by any chance, picked a certain Portuguese bloke?
Yes, Helder Costa. No, Bruno Fernandes. If you're talking about Costa. if you're talking about somebody who joined us in the January transfer window and from the whole of 2020 has basically been Man United's best player, the only reason why we are competitive in games, has won 4 Premier League Player of the Month awards already, and he's only played 8-9 months over here. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I have to say, I didn't want to sign him. I didn't think he was going to be as good as what he was just because he was out playing in the Liga NOS. I thought he wasn't going to translate well to English football, and he proved me massively wrong.
Yeah, I have to say, when I said there's loads of good ones that are world class, and I think De Bruyne's just ahead of them all. Bruno Fernandes is in that group. He is brilliant.
He loves
I also hate him.
Yeah, the one thing when I was watching that Leeds Man United match, and I was thinking, we've not had a penalty yet. And then Martial went down.
Look, that was so nailed on. Even me as a Leeds fan, I had money on Man United getting a penalty. I didn't have money on you scoring a penalty because I didn't want any benefit from you scoring. But I did have money on you getting one.
Right, so a final midfielder. Dan, who's your final midfielder?
I took this guy from the Mexican League, Angel Mena from Leon. And
tell us more, because none of us know.
He's come out of nowhere. He's had a great season. Right now, he has 9 goals and 8 assists right now on the season. And I can't say much about last year, the little stretch of last year, but I know right now he's probably one of the best players in the league right now.
Yeah. All I know about the Mexican League is Andre Pierre Gignac. That's it.
Yeah.
Where did I went all out?
Casey, your final midfielder.
I've not picked Stuart Dallas, but I have picked a Stuart Dallas style of midfielder, and I've gone with Thiago Alcantara as just someone who can, if you want him to play deep, he can do it. Box-to-box midfielder, yet not a problem. Want to play him as a 10? Absolutely, not a problem. Swiss Army knife of central midfielders, as it were. But yeah, again, in that someone else in that Bayern Munich team who just absolutely excels. And I know it's easy to kind of pick on Bayern, players at the Bayern team, because of, I don't want to say how easy the Bundesliga is for them, but it is a little bit easy for them. But again, you see him tested week in, week out in the Champions League as well, and is a top quality player there.
Jack?
Well, obviously, I don't have any midfielders, so I'll just name 2 strikers when you do strikers, because there will be overlap anyway. So trust me, it'll work.
Right, fair enough. Well, I have gone with a Bayern player, but I've not gone with Thiago. I've gone with Leon Goretzka.
He's had an unbelievable season.
And the transformation from what he looked like before lockdown to now, he's now chiseled out of stone.
They all are. Whatever it is they're feeding him at Bayern, they must have a hell of a dietitian. And I'm not saying because they're doing something dodgy, which a lot are. I just mean that what are they doing, and can Leeds find out, please?
I think when you watch Bayern, the 2 midfielders that stand out to me is Kimmich and Goretzka, and I think they both run that midfield so well that even though Thiago has now moved to Liverpool, they still look so solid with just those 2 sat in midfield. So I think that he had more of an impact in that midfield role.
And he's added a lot more goals lately as well as Goretzka. Like when I've been watching him, the way he attacks the ball and his finishing's really good. He's turned into. He's always been a top quality midfielder, but he has definitely stepped up a level.
He was one of those players that when he was at Schalke, part of me went, I really don't want you to go to Bayern, because it happens with all the German midfielders that are doing well in Bundesliga. Bayern go, you look all right. And I kind of didn't want him to go there, but I think it's really benefited his career making that move.
Yeah.
So from there, we'll do another little ad break kind of thing in between each roles. So from the midfielders, before we go into the attackers, check out the running lineup for the podcasts at The Buzz.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you won't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by a locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look with the top dish. Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot, swish. Tell them that's what we ready for. Tell them that's what we ready for.
Enjoying that, Casey?
Absolute banger, mate. Absolute banger.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the forwards. And seeing as Jack has 4 forwards, we might as well start with Jack.
Yeah, I've only ended up with that. Basically, I had a job on because there was 5 I wanted to pick, but I had to just drop one of them. So I'll start on the right, because if you've all got front threes, then you'll all have a right and a left-sided player. On the right, he could have played in any of the 4 forward positions or centre mid because he's the best player in the world, Lionel Messi. He's had a fallout with Barca, he's whinged like mad, and he's still the best player in the world.
I've not picked him.
I've not picked him either.
You're wrong. He's the best player in the world.
I don't think he's had that great of a 2020. So
no, neither do I, and he's still the best player in the world.
Casey, your first forward.
For my right winger, I have gone with Mo Salah. There was the start of last season when he didn't get off to the best of starts goals wise, and people started talking about, is he just going to be a one season wonder? And no, he's not. He's genuinely one of the best players in the world. Absolutely fantastic, lethal cutting in off that right hand side. Again, just a wizard with the ball at his feet. And it was, for me, watching Leeds against Liverpool on the opening day of the season was kind of the eye opener as to just how good he was. And that's probably with him at 70%.
Yeah, I've got Mohamed Salah as well as my right wing. I just think, even as a Man United fan, you kind of have to step back and look at the impact that he's done for Liverpool and just go, yeah, he's on another class. He's just a step above a lot of forwards in the world, and I think again, the same as what I said for Trent, when he plays, Liverpool just seem to tick that a little bit extra. But Dan, your first forward.
Yeah, I got him, but I got him on my left side since he plays both sides. But I got Mo Salah.
Right, okay. Well, then your second forward.
For the right side, and no, I didn't pick Harry Kane as any of my picks. but I got Romelu Lukaku. I think the past 18 months he's had a wonderful season for Inter Milan. It didn't show it in the league so far since they did bad, but I feel like he's done a great job for them, and I think that showed with how they finished in. I believe it was the Europa or was it Champions League last year?
He absolutely banged him in last season. He showed he looked like a completely different human being to the player that was at Man United. He was absolutely brilliant.
He looks, I don't know what it was that happened at Man United, but he just looks so much faster now. And I don't know if it's that he's got his motivation again or what it is, but he looked like the player that, absolutely lit up at Everton.
Yeah, it was always disappointing to me that because the first season that he had with us, he was absolutely fantastic. He was still banging goals in. His first touch was always the iffy bit. But then the second year when we stopped playing him, he lost his confidence. He's done him a world of good to get away from Manchester United. And I still think he is one of the most lethal finishers in the world. But speaking of lethal finishers, my second forward is he was born in Leeds, actually. A little young.
I would normally play James Milner up top, but I think it's a wise decision.
Yeah, it's Alan Smith.
Not with his knees now.
Yeah, I've gone with Haaland.
This is what I meant by a new Vedby crossover. One of my front two is Erling Haaland.
I mean, come on. He's a robot. It does not make sense. He should not be. It just doesn't look like he should be that good, but he is. Everything he touches just turns to goals.
His movement's brilliant. He's so much quicker than he looks. He's not just quite quick for a guy his size. He's actively fucking rapid. Great movement. His finishing's brilliant. He's hits the ball with power, but when he needs to be deft, he can be. His link-up play is really good. He's an all-round world-class striker already. And that scares me of how good he might be in 6 years.
Yeah. KC, your next forward.
Do you want my centre forward or my left winger? I'll let you choose.
Go with your left wing.
I think for me, there was probably only one option here, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who I think is the best player in the world. But again, just continuing to put up absolutely unreal numbers. And whenever there's the debate about who is the best between the two of them, I'll always go to the fact that he is someone who has now done it in 3 different leagues. And yes, you can argue as to the effect, when you played a 2-division league like La Liga and a 1-division league like Serie A has been for the last few years. But no, just again, an absolute physical machine.
You can't say one team league like Serie A when they're not even top.
for now.
Yeah.
I'll say this like I watch Serie A.
Yeah, no, you see, don't get me wrong, he is absolutely world class, but he isn't in my team because when he does the difference between him and a lot of them is when he has his bad days, he drags an entire team down with him. because you have to play for everything to go through him. So if he has a bad day, it ruins the entire side. And although Juve, they're still a very great side and would win the league most years, I just think that he is maybe one click below what he was 2 years ago. And that puts him like, if I was able to pick a sub, he would be right up there, but he doesn't quite mine.
I know what you mean. He is now only able to jump 7.5 feet in the air as opposed to the 8 that he was able to get before.
And there is also a different other reason why I don't want to pick Cristiano Ronaldo, but I don't want to get us sued. So
yeah, right. Moving on.
I think you're gonna get that allegedly tab ready.
I'm not even touching it with an allegedly, but just Google it.
Dan, your next forward.
For my center forward, I got the guy I think is the best player in the world right now is Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and I was expecting that. That's my other striker. Everyone should have him.
He's just a machine right now.
Yeah.
He is my centre forward of choice as well, and a comedy genius as well. While we're at it,
yeah, he was that good that I'm playing Haaland out on the left wing.
Yeah, that's what made me switch formation, because I've put Mane on the left wing. So I've got Mane, Messi, and then Haaland and Lewandowski. And it's just because they all deserve to. I wanted to play 4-3-3, but all four of them deserve to be in more than any third midfielder. So I had to.
Yeah. I mean, I think this always happens that the forwards are littered with so many good players when it comes to trying to pick these teams that the midfield really becomes the difficult part to try and pick. And you kind of want to go, no, we'll play 3-0-7.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you've got a formation like Jack's, there is always the argument that we spoke about last time of having Son and Kane as a front two, because as a unit, those two are, I think, the best partnership in the world.
Yeah,
and I think, to be honest, Kane under Mourinho has been as lethal as ever. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, to be honest, there's at least 10 forwards that you could argue for.
Kane under Mourinho could have played CDM.
He typically does for the last half hour.
Yeah, he did. He didn't do it today. Probably a sore point for you, didn't that, Dan?
Not compared to us, mate.
Yeah, wow. We ran through those teams, but to be fair, I was expecting a lot of crossover between our teams. There's certain players that I think are just like, yes, they have to be in the side. So I think everyone has them in their 11, like Lewandowski this year has to be in everyone's starting 11.
Yeah, I think if anyone hadn't picked Lewandowski, I'd have thought you were within your rights to just disconnect him.
I had Harry Kane on, and I was like, if I put Harry Kane on over him, they're just gonna get rid of me. even though how he's playing right now, but like, you can't just leave him off. I couldn't be that biased.
Yeah, to be honest, when we were talking beforehand and you were telling me, I've got an MLS player. Well, he was an MLS player and now he plays back overseas. And I thought you were going to say Ibra up top. And part of me couldn't.
It's funny you say that because I was doing some digging and I'm like, I forgot Alphonso Davies played for Vancouver. Yeah. And he came up through their academy and they didn't really use him that much on their white caps, and then he came over to Munich.
I mean, I said to Alex when he told me what you'd said, and I was thinking it's Diego Valeri or no one for me if we're picking MLS players for this team.
You know what? You two could do a special and just pick an MLS 11.
No, I couldn't. I know. I know Timbers players, and I know the ex-Premier League players.
The only other player I would have considered was Diego Rossi of LAFC, and that's just because Carlos Vela didn't play, so he had Rossi had 17 goals or whatever it was.
Oh man, if Carlos Vela didn't play, I'd be really screwed there. Is Robbie Keane still going for LA Galaxy? Anyone?
Between that and then Josep Martinez, before I think he played 10 minutes and then got a ACL sprain and didn't play the rest of the year. He probably would have been a guy that if he had played with how he did last year and the year before, I would have considered him.
He is one of the MLS players that I want to see come to Barca or someone like that and just see how he does.
He had back-to-back 25-goal seasons.
He does look lethal, and he's still got one of the weirdest run-ups for a penalty.
I'm surprised that team let him go when Atlanta came into the league. It was only supposed to be a partial loan, and then they were just yeah, you can keep him. And it's you see this guy scoring 20 goals in their inaugural season, and then you just let him stay.
I'm just going to say
he's the Owen Doyle of the MLS.
I'm just going to say now that whenever you talk about players' run-ups for penalties, and this is going to be a bit of a niche reference, but Bruno Fernandes does run up to take a penalty the way that Didi from Dexter's Lab walks and flounces around the house. So, yeah.
Does it work, though?
Oh, clearly it did today, so I've got to give it that.
We have a comment that says, thanks.
That looks awfully bottish, doesn't it?
You're welcome.
What was that guy's name?
Oh, here we go.
Keon, thank you.
I just love Adon.
Keon Adon.
That's a great name.
And again, if he becomes a footballer, you use Cisco's The Thong Song as his song. Don.
We ran through the team of the year so quickly. We haven't done a game roundup, obviously, because we've done this as a special. And currently, not all the Premier League games have taken place. Villa are 1-0 up against Sam Allardyce's West Brom.
Give it 3 weeks, they'll be fine.
But just to end off, out of the Premier League that we have seen so far this weekend, let's do hot or cold. We've got a bit of time. Let's not. Why not? So, I'm going to start you off with hot, and I'm going to say I think Jamie Vardy looked incredible for Leicester today. Even though he scored a penalty, he forced an own goal for Toby Alderweireld, but I think his work off the ball and the way at his age he's still running around the pitch and causing defenders so much problems. I think it's upsetting to me to know that he's not going to be in the England squad because he's retired from international football.
Yeah, he's quality. I can understand his retirement from international football because he was never going to get that starting berth. But I would love to have him for the last 20 minutes of any game.
Yeah. D-Bake, you're hot for this week?
I don't like Jamie Vardy right now, but I got to go with him too. Considering he beat Tottenham today, even though the other goal was an own goal, and then I had to turn away for a minute. But just like you said, he's a great player, and then he scored the first goal, and then I gave it to him.
KC?
Ooh. There was quite a few. It's very tempting to go with Scott McTominay, to be honest. Actually, you know what? I'm going to commit to that. That man tore us apart in the first 3 minutes of that game.
I'm on board. I'm on board with this.
You really don't expect to see your holding midfielder breaking the lines in the opening stages of a game. But I thought that man was going to smash Robbie Fowler's, what was it, a 9-minute hat-trick he got for Liverpool or whatever it was. I thought that was going to get smashed in the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's not the record anymore, though. Sadio Mane, 3.5 minutes for Southampton.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, he'd have struggled
it might have been 4.5, I can't remember, but it was Mane broke the record. I remember it happening.
Yeah, to be fair, I was so impressed with that little step over on the second goal. Played the through ball and he had the wherewithal as a CDM to do the step over and then just pass it into the opposite corner. I said to you on the Mighty Wise podcast, I think Fred and McTominay are our best starting midfielders.
You never said about him going forward, though.
No.
Well,
but he did.
That's because I assume, like most of us, he thought that Matthias Klick might at least try and track him.
As opposed to looking and going, well, he's gone.
My call for this week, Crystal Palace, just as a whole, for conceding 7 and doing nothing up front. This is, you know what? Coming off the back of that Spurs game where they drew 1-1 and Gaeta looked pretty incredible, minus the swerve from Harry Kane's shot that went in. He looked like unbeatable, and then they went and conceded 7.
Yeah. Mind you, though, that just conceding 7 doesn't mean anything. And so, Ilham Melier conceded 6 today, and he was his best player.
Yeah, I'll never speak ill of teams who concede a load of goals in a single game. It can happen to anyone.
D-Bake, you're cold for the week.
I actually had Crystal Palace as well. Anytime your team gives up 7 goals, you're not, and then you have 0, you're not really playing well.
Fair enough. KC?
As tempting as I am to go for Matthias Klick's first half, I don't want to call it a performance. The fact he turned up, apparently, but I'm going to go with Newcastle, your second club, Alex, and obviously there was the Leeds' performance against them, which was in the end a fairly comfortable win with a couple of scary moments in it. But as I understand that they've had a setback with the COVID and having to take a break, so I understand that they've got a team that isn't match fit at all. But Steve Bruce did not have any sort of tactical plan for that Leeds game. It didn't look like they were trying to counter-attack us. It didn't look like they were trying to particularly press us in any way. I couldn't tell you what their plan was, and I'm assuming it's because they didn't have one. The defence wasn't, they weren't forcing us to play in wide areas and kind of just blocking off the middle. I couldn't tell you what they were doing, and to be honest, I thought that's one of the worst defensive performances I've seen, and I'm including Leeds today, because I knew what Leeds' plan was today, and it was we played badly today, but I could not tell you what Newcastle's plan was. I couldn't tell you what their strategy was at all.
Yeah, and then you add to that failing to beat Fulham at home, who had 10 men for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a bad week for Newcastle.
Yeah. Jack, you're cold.
Look, I hate to do it, and I think we'll be fine, but it's kind of got to be us.
No, Jack, I've just told you it could be Newcastle.
Although, you know what? Nah, fuck it. I'm going to just be straight up Leeds fan about it. Marcus Rashford, you scored 6 and he didn't get a goal or an assist. He's shit.
I assume somewhere on a Facebook group or on Twitter there is a Man United fan saying he is being too distracted trying to save all the children.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would have been fine with you saying that if you just said it about Martial.
Yeah. No, because he got a couple of assists even though he missed those sitters. Genuinely, although we'll be fine, that first 40 minutes today, we were pretty appalling. We just gave the ball away constantly, made it as easy as possible for Man United to attack whenever they wanted. We were always, the way we play was always going to play into Man United's hands, but we took that to like an extreme. But if we do that and play even okay, you're not 2-0 down in 3 minutes. Being 2-0 down in 3 minutes is a level of just not doing your jobs that is pretty stark. And I think that they all realised it, because after that you could see that there was shell shocked by what had happened. And as bad as we were for that whole half, they did kind of get better as the game went on, even though we were never good at any point.
Yeah. I mean, but I said this to KC, when we were 6-2 up and it was the 75th minute, I still didn't feel comfortable, because you are that kind of team that can score 4 goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
That's the good part of it. We did keep going and keep trying to play and keep pressing and all of that, which, as I've said, that Bielsa's so magic that we just got beat 6-2 at Man United, and I can still say that there were parts of the game I enjoyed. There's no other manager that could have done that.
Yeah. 6-2. Happy birthday, Jack.
Yeah, cheers.
I hope you enjoyed it.
No, I'm going to drink more after this.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But that'll do us for this episode of Stand Your Ground. Like I said, we rattled through the team of the year a lot quicker than I expected us to. But those are the things where, especially when you're picking a team where there is going to be a lot of crossover. As always, make sure you go on over to Twitter, Facebook at WTB.com. Give us a like and a follow. Also over on our YouTube channel, The Buzz, which will have a live video going in about 25 minutes, because I'll be going live with current Impact Wrestling superstar and one half of the North, Josh Alexander, for Armchair Wrestling. So come and join us for that interview. Get your questions in the comments below and we'll get through as many as we possibly can. And also make sure, as it says on the ticker below, use code SYG2020 at Manscaped for 20% off and free delivery. But that'll do us. So we've been joined by both members of the Mighty Mikes podcast, Jack and Casey.
Cheers.
We've been joined by D-Bake.
See you.
I've been your host, Alex, and we'll see you in the new year.